Hello everybody, how are you? Hello everybody, how are you? It is time to start our day. It is time to work and play. Hello everybody, how are you? Hi everybody, welcome back. We are going to start telling a really special story today. And notice I said we're going to start telling it because it's a big story and it's going to take a couple of days to get through the whole thing. So today we're going to do part 1 of the story, and then we'll come back tomorrow and tell a little bit more. Before I tell you any of the story, I want to tell you about the setting of the story. We've talked about the setting before. Does anybody remember what that means? What does setting mean? The setting means where the story takes place. Where in the world does it take place? What kind of building or house does it take place in? Well, right now I want to talk to you about the place that it takes place in the world. We have been looking at the map for a while now. We talked about North America and we talked about Europe. Those are the only 2 continents we've talked about. Our story takes place in a different one we haven't learned about yet. It takes place in the continent of Asia, and I want to show you where in Asia it is. First of all, Asia is this big pink one. Look how far over it stretches. This big pink continent is Asia. Well, we're only talking about one tiny little part of it, and that is right in here, right next to this orange continent, Africa, in a town called Bethlehem. And our story took place a very, very, very long time ago. But even though it took place so long ago, even today it stays the best, most important story that's ever been told. So I want to start off with a little way of telling you a story that's a little bit different. We did this one other time. I'm going to draw you a picture as I tell you the story. And it's going to be like a guessing game. You're going to see if you can guess what my picture is by the time I'm done telling you the story. Are you ready? Okay, so you're not only going to use your ears to listen, you're going to use your eyes to watch, and you're going to use your minds to think, what is she drawing? And what does this have to do with the story? All right, it starts out like this. A long time ago, there lived a girl named Mary. One day, while Mary was in her house praying, God sent a messenger to her. Anything yet? Any guesses? Any ideas? Not yet? Okay, I'll keep going. Mary was very surprised to suddenly see someone standing in front of her. But the messenger said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You don't need to be worried." Any guesses yet? His name was Gabriel, and he had been sent from God. The messenger asked Mary to become the mother of God's son, Jesus. Mary said yes, she would do what God wanted her to do. She was excited to know that she was going to have a baby. Mary wanted to tell Joseph, the man that she was going to marry, about the baby that she was going to have. The messenger went to tell Joseph the good news. Who was the messenger from God? Whoops, let me do that part again. Can you tell? Who was the messenger from God? Can you tell by my picture? God's messenger was an angel, and his name was Gabriel. Now, angels are very important in our story today and in all of God's stories because angels are God's helper. God uses angels to protect us, to send us messages, and to do all kinds of very important things. This angel, you might say, had one of the most important jobs ever. He got to tell Jesus' mommy that she was going to have a baby and he was going to be Jesus. So Gabriel was very, very important and very special. All right, I thought maybe we could make some angels together today. I have a couple of different ways that we can do an angel craft together. I'm going to show you real quick the supplies that I have. I have 2 ideas, and maybe you can come up with some more, but these are the 2 ideas that I have for you to make an angel today. My first one, I have a popsicle stick. And if you don't have a popsicle stick, maybe you have a clothespin at home, the kind that has the round top. I didn't have one of those, so I'm going to use a popsicle stick. And I have a coffee filter. Maybe if your grown-up drinks coffee, they have coffee filters. It doesn't have to be white like mine. It can be the brown kind. That's fine. And I also have some yarn that I'm going to use, and then I've got some markers that I'm going to use as well. So my first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some yarn, nice long string of yarn, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to start winding it. I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I'm going to leave a little space, and I'm just going to wind and wind and wind. See how it catches itself? And I can wind it all the way down to the bottom. I can just keep going and going and going and going and going. Now I did one already, so instead of making you wait while I wind this, I'm going to show you. What I did was I wound it up, and then I took my coffee filter and I just folded that in half. And these are going to be my angel's wings. Okay, there's my coffee filter. So I took my wound up popsicle stick and I glued it onto the coffee filter. So there is my angel's body and my angel's wings. And then I gave him a little face at the top. Now this part, this yellow pipe cleaner, if you have one of these at home, this is his halo. We like to think of angels as wearing halos. So this is his halo. So this is one angel craft that you can make. Another one I have a paper plate for, a big one or a small one. It doesn't matter what size you have. And I also just have some brown paper that I'm going to cut a head out of. Okay, now to make my angel out of a paper plate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a triangle. That was our shape last month, wasn't it? I'm going to cut a triangle out of part of it. I'm just going to start at the bottom. I'm going to go up towards the middle. And then I'm going to come over here a little ways, and I'm going to do it again until I have cut out a triangle shape. That's the only cutting I need to do on my paper plate. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that chunk away. It's like a pie piece, isn't it? I'm going to flip it around. These are my angel's wings, and this is going to be my angel's body. Now I can glue it, or I think I might staple mine. Make it a little faster so I can show you what I'm doing. I don't have to wait for the glue to dry. If my stapler has staples in it. There we go. Okay, so I have the angel's body and I have the angel's wings. My angel needs a head, doesn't he? He needs a big head right here. So that's where my brown paper comes in. I am going to take my brown paper and I'm going to cut a circle. Let's see. I don't want his head to be too big. I don't want it to be too small. So I'm going to cut kind of a medium-sized head here. Now, I have a hard time cutting circles. I don't know about you, but my circle isn't going to be a perfect circle, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. And then I could either glue it. See how it goes right there? I could glue it. I could tape it. I have my stapler here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to staple mine on again. Let me get it on there. And then I could draw a face on this one again. I could put another pipe cleaner. I'm going to use tape instead. I could use another pipe cleaner to make a halo, but I also can, what I want to do with mine is take a yellow marker and decorate my angel's wings and body a little bit. I'm just going to come over here and just kind of make them glow. I don't know if you can see my yellow, but I'm just going to draw maybe a bit of gold. I'm just going to draw lines out like this because my angel shines with God's radiance. He shines beautifully. So I've got two angels. I've got my popsicle stick angel and I've got my paper plate angel. You can make angels like that as well, or maybe you have some other supplies and you can make another kind of angel, whatever you'd like to do. I am going to read you a story now out of our Jesus Storybook Bible. We had read this way back at the beginning of our time together. Remember when I had this out? This, we said, was God's book. God is the one that inspired every word inside of our Bibles. He gave us the words to teach us lessons and to teach us about Jesus. Now, way back when we first started meeting together, we talked about God's creation and all the different things, all of the different animals that he created, all of the different landforms that he created, all of the people that he created. And when we were done reading, we said that this is just where the story was starting. It was just beginning, and it was all leading to something very important. Well, we're there. You ready? All right, I'm only going to read a little bit of the story today. To hear the rest of the story, you'll have to come back and join me tomorrow and see what happens next. Okay. This story is called He's Here. Let me go this way. He's Here is the title of this story. Everything was ready. The moment God had been waiting for was here at last. God was coming to help his people just as he had promised in the beginning. But how would he come? What would he be like? What would he do? If you were God and you could be anything or do anything, what would you do? How would you come to earth? Would you come as a big giant king with a throne and a crown and lots of followers? Would you come shooting through the air in a rocket ship? Or maybe you would fall to the earth on a hot air balloon. What do you think? How would you want to come? Let's find out how God chose to come. Mountains would have bowed down, seas would have roared, trees would have clapped their hands, but the earth held its breath. As silent as snow falling, he came in. And when no one was looking in the darkness, he came. No rocket ship, no hot air balloon, no big crowds announcing that he was coming. He came in very quietly. There was a young girl who was engaged to a man named Joseph. Joseph was the great-great-great-great-grandson of King David. One morning, this girl was minding her own business when suddenly a great warrior of light appeared right there in her bedroom. He was Gabriel, and he was an angel, a special messenger from heaven. When she saw the tall, shining man standing there, Mary was frightened. "You don't need to be scared," Gabriel said. "God is very happy with you." Mary looked around to see if perhaps he was talking to someone else. "Mary," Gabriel said, and he laughed with such gladness that Mary's eyes filled with sudden tears. "Mary, you're going to have a baby, a little boy. You will call him Jesus. He is God's own son. He's the one. He's the rescuer. The God who flung planets into space and kept them whirling around and around. The God who made the universe with just a word. The one who could do anything at all was making himself small. He's not coming in as a great big giant king on a throne with a crown on. He's coming in as a bitty baby. And he's coming down as a baby." Wait, God was sending a baby to rescue the world? "But it's too wonderful," Mary said, and felt her heart beating hard. "How can it be true?" "Is anything too wonderful for God?" Gabriel asked. So Mary trusted God more than what her eyes could see, and she believed. "I am God's servant," she said. "Whatever God says, I will do." Wow, what a great person Mary was, wasn't she? She was willing to do anything, even though she couldn't see what was going to happen. She had to have been a little bit scared, huh? This stranger shows up in her house and says, "You are going to have God's baby." That would be really scary. But Mary was a very faithful woman, and she said, "If God said I'm doing this, then I am doing this." Now I'm going to stop our story there. Maybe you know what's coming next, but come back tomorrow to find out for sure. We'll read a little bit more, we'll do another story up here, and we'll make another craft. So I will see you guys tomorrow for part 2 of our story. Go make some angels and have some fun. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.